First up, you pledge allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Welcome, everybody. First up, the election of the 2025-2026 board chair and vice chair. At this point, I would entertain any nominations for board chair.
I nominate Kent Rochester for board chair.
Any other nominations? All right, I guess then everybody in favor of me as board chair, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, nominations for vice chair. Any other nominations? All right. All those in favor of Brent Parker as vice chair, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? All right.
Congratulations, but I did just see Darren and Tom switch each other's money about.
Yeah.
I don't know what that was about.
We have 2025-2026 designations, and these need to be.
Those are as presented. I don't think we need to read them out loud. Just
Okay.
see them as presented, and then not a lot of changes. Biggest change on there would be your Umpqua Bank is changing the name to Columbia Bank September 1st or whatever. So designated that in there. Everything else is same as normal.
All right. And are there any adjustments to the agenda?
No, that's presented.
Public comment on non-agenda items? All right, there is none. The consent agenda, which consists of the meeting minutes of June 2025 and the HR report. Hopefully everyone had a chance to look at those.
Oh, it's recording.
I would entertain a motion for the consent agenda.
I make a motion that we accept the consent agenda.
What?
I made a motion.
Great motions. Darren and Tom tied for second.
All right. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. Lori, it's time for the fiscal overview.
As you can see, we have a brand new year. Woohoo! You'll see that our ending fund balance is 9%, but that's pretty great considering we just rolled over and everything is with this. It's as if everything is spent down at the end of the year of what we budgeted, and that is exactly where we want to be. Everything seems to be going so far so well. I've been in contact with the auditor, getting them all the paperwork that they need and starting that process. Our audit will run September 22nd, week of the 22nd. And so far everything seems to be going great. I'm excited. It's a new year. I'm ready to go back to work normally so my kids aren't home. That'd be great.
Does anyone have any questions for Corey? No? All right. Moving right along to reports and discussions. The maintenance and custodial report is in your packet. Anything to add to that?
Just if you have any questions on it. Only addition that I would say with maintenance custodial is I think I said the same thing in June. It has been a difficult summer for them as they're trying to get all the floors waxed and the rooms cleaned and everything else. Usually they got to work around the 4 weeks of summer school at OES, so they focus the other two buildings. The other two buildings have been messy with stuff going on, so they have done a fantastic job of jumping around and popping in when they need to. And as it stands right now, I think we're going to be ready. Kids are coming on the 2nd, so we're going to be ready. I think everything's falling into place. So just kudos for the custodial staff. We hired one extra this year, 2 extras this year, Shar and Jim, and they both did a phenomenal job, fit in well and picked up slack. So great summer in that sense. They moved a lot of stuff a lot of times, and they're really gonna pick up the pace in the next 2 weeks as we've got to refill the boiler room down there and remove those 2 classrooms, and we've still got a lot of stuff to do in a short time, but on top of things and doing really well.
You may have noticed there's a lot of construction going on. Jeff, do you want to
All
pick
right,
up on that?
facility report. Yes, it has been the summer of construction, and I caught up with some of the maintenance people today as they were custodial crew, I guess. They were cleaning the library down at Lincoln, and I promised them that never again would I, at least while I was soup, would I have 5 massive construction projects going on in the same summer. We will never do that again. That being said, knock on wood, the last time this happened about 4 weeks ago, I met and did a walkthrough on Wednesday with Alan and Brent, and we walked through all of our projects, and things were going fantastically. We were talking about what a great pace we were on, how great things were. The next day, like 4 wheels fell off. And so today we did a walkthrough again, got up to speed on everything, and feel really good about the way things are. So hopefully that those wheels don't fall back off again, although we did have a minor hiccup later in the day from it. But so to walk you through the projects, start down at LMS. The first seismic, this will probably be the last time I report on it. We did get the floor poured in the boiler room. Wow, what an incredible difference. It makes it look 10 times bigger of a room than it really is. And we're able to get those handrails out of there, incorporate all that flooring. Right now, we're going to leave it as a storage room, but that is something that a couple years down the road, we could come back in and put a hallway wall down off of the south wall, like right where those 2 doors are. If you put about a 5-foot wall in there, so you can still hallway down and protect off all of the electrical and plumbing and stuff that's on there. That could be a office, could even be a classroom, really. Lots of options in there. For now, it's just going to be storage. It's going to be much more useful storage. We got the floor poured last week. They're going to start moving. They were finishing, because when they cut that seismic shear wall in, when they put it in, they had to cut it up a certain amount to get poured, and they had to pull the sheeting off another 3 feet up. So they were just finishing redoing the sheeting along the base of it this morning. They were going to polish the floor and then move all the stuff that was in there in storage was in that hallway, that new hallway covered area. That'll all get moved in. So that'll be taken care of. I think they're going to move that tomorrow. So that boiler room will be checked off. We got the parts for the broken hoop. We've had those for a couple of weeks. We just haven't really been able to break Brent loose to do it. On a side note, our lift that we've owned for the last 20 years, have had it fixed 3 or 4 times, is currently the drive shaft went out again. It's the 3rd time that's went out. So I think we got to drag it out of the light room because it's stuck and won't move. So we've got to hook onto it and drag it out of there. We're going to get rid of it and we'll probably try and find another used one like we did for that one. But we'll shop for new prices as well. Just kind of see what the best option is. Super handy to have. It's paid for itself 10 times over for all the times that we can use it for all of our lights and signage and all the things that we use it for. But it is, on a side note, broken, and it's probably not worth fixing anymore. That being said, the hoop down here is we have the parts for it, so that'll take care of the first seismic. Phase 1 will be done. Wood shop storage area, we got those 2 3-way buildings done. They look great. We also put the pad off to the side for where with the milling sawmills coming in. We are going to put up just a 4-post roof only barn over it, just so there's a roof over the sawmill so it doesn't rust. We're supposed to be getting some bids for some gate / doors on the front of both of those buildings, and then we'll probably fill in some cement in that gravel area around the sawmill area just to clean it up and get a little better drainage. But looks great. We're ready to use it, but I told them they can't use it until we get either gates or locked on the front. And then the sawmill is in, we just got to go pick it up. It's up in Eugene. So that part's good. Just got to get a plan for fencing and doors. Phase two, that's one of the huge ones of all the projects we got going. That's huge because obviously kids need to move in. We're in great shape there. They put the middle wall up between counseling, broke the counseling office in half and made it so there's a nurse's office in there. So we have a nurse's office and a counseling office. That flooring's done in there, walls done, sheetrock is almost done. They just got to do the drop ceiling in both of them. Put in the framing for the grid for the drop ceiling. Then they'll do the lights, and then they will put the ceiling in and paint it. It's supposed to be in the paint. I think they're going to start painting in there tomorrow. And then both classrooms are sheetrocked. Also need the ceiling grids in there. And then once they do that, they'll put the lighting in. They'll paint those. They're basically going to just follow down the road of painting. Bathrooms are a couple of days behind that. They're all framed in. They were finishing hanging the sheetrock in there. They finished insulation yesterday. We're doing the sheetrocking today, so they'll be a little behind them with the mudding and so forth, but end up painting all of those. The 2 6th grade classrooms at the hallway, we have the grids in. They've been approved. We're just waiting for the electrician to finish the drop lighting. As soon as the drop lighting's done, we'll put the panels in, and those will be done. Flooring is going to kick in right behind the painters for the 2 classrooms. Classrooms are definitely going to be tight. There's still some pipe dream hope that we'll get the hallway floor redone, but I think we're just going to end up kicking that till Christmas break and let them redo that and fix that warranty work. But as it stands right now, the 5 6 hallway, the classrooms are going to be done. We're hoping that end of next week, we can move all the stuff out of that the hallway's cleared out. We can move the stuff from the 2 modular classrooms into the hallway, so it's right outside of the rooms. Then Monday, contract teachers don't come back till Tuesday. We're hoping that maybe by Monday, everything's done so we can start moving the main stuff in. And then when the teachers get there on Tuesday, they can direct us a little bit of where to put the cubbies and where to put the things we need. But as of right now, that one's on track to be set and ready to go with kids. We did have to tear up all the sidewalk off the far end of that hallway between the annex and the hallway because we had to run the gas line. It came off right at the end of the 7-8 hallway and it elbowed up towards the boiler room. So we had to cut into that and run it straight. So we had to pull up all that sidewalk in there. We got it done, dug out, buried, inspected Monday. They laid it Monday, inspected yesterday. So it's good to go. So they're ready to refill that ditch. On the middle school gym, our dirt guy, Northwest Builders, Eric Gustafson, has about 10 things on his list, a bunch of open ditches, a bunch of things, but he has a list that he's checking things off. And right now his focus is on the fire lines, cutting in the line along the face of Lincoln, along the front of it to that other fire hydrant and along the face. He got it dug about 3/4 of the way back today. They're planning it, and then they want to get those lines closed up as soon as we can for fall sports starting. But they are gonna, when they finish those 2 fire lines, they're gonna pave that. We were gonna do all the paving at once and just do packed gravel, but we decided to go ahead and pave everything in the front where all the high traffic is gonna be starting with registration next week. I don't know that they're gonna get it paved. I think we're planning on Monday maybe for paving and then cement on the backside. So a day of Lincoln registration might be a little quirky as we're trying to get that paving done, but then they should be good. And then we'll have to pour that cement along the backside so that sidewalk will be back covered with all the gas lines will be covered. So we're moving along there. So phase 2 is in good shape. As far as the gym goes, the high school gym, well, I guess staying down here on the middle school. So middle school gym also is moving along at a great pace. All the walls in the locker room area and all of that are up. They sheeted that. They put the floor joists in for the mezzanine. That's all. They were sheeting the roof of it today. They have 1 tall wall up. We need to get a crane over there to set the other walls up. They haven't built those yet, but to pull those up because they're so heavy and big when they go up. But we can't get a crane back there until our dirt guy is done with these fire lines and can get back because there's the huge storm drain line. And we did catch a big break. Originally, Power said power couldn't go in the same ditch with anything else. It needed to be 3 feet away from water, power, and sewer. or not power, water, sewer, and fire. But since we already had that storm drain, we asked if we could put it in the same as storm. And the guy said, oh yeah, it doesn't say anything about storm. So luckily we were able to do it. That was huge for us because we already dug what was supposed to be a 2-foot wide ditch is about 4 feet wide because of all the rock that we went through. So there was room to put it in there. So that is now buried. They were laying, all the pipe was laid and they were getting ready to start fishing wire through today. So that as soon as he gets done with the fire and then gets done burying the gas, he'll move over and start burying the electric. So that'll be huge strides there. So we're really in good shape. The gym is actually, it's on schedule right now, but if things continue to go as set, we'll get sheetrockers in earlier than expected in that first part. So we might pick up a few days here and there. Still scheduled as of right now for a Christmas Day-ish finish. So we seem to be semi on track with that. Hoping that we've used all of our design contingency. That money's long gone. We started biting into our contractor contingency, but really feel like we're almost out of the ground completely. And once we do that, we'll stop finding new things. I guess I told facilities, not you guys, we did dig across an old septic tank that nobody knew was there. We discovered that kind of in the parking lot. So we stopped working and did some research. It's not registered with DEQ. So at that point, we felt like we're in good shape. So we are getting it. Our dirt guy is licensed to decommission those. So he will dig the top out, pump it out, fill it with whatever it needs to be filled with, and decommission it, and we'll fill it back over. So big bonus for finding it. Bonus, it was a much better fix than it could have been. So got that taken care of. And our storm drain is put in. So we're really in pretty good shape. Things are really going well, moving well on that middle school. Problem we're going to have is, as you can see when you pull up, if you looked over there, we got our metal trusses in today for the main part of the roof. They're sitting over there in the grass. We've got a ton of material staged out in the grass and all that parking area. Our hope is once we get all of these dirt areas covered, then we can move all of that stuff into the staging area, kind of in that grass behind the concession stand and the bleachers, and get it caught back there so we can have easier access to the field. I don't believe that parking area is going to come available anytime soon, just because of the restructuring of it and all of because we also have equipment and everything over there, but we're going to get to that as soon as we can. And then when we're done, we'll do the final paving of the sidewalk. We hope that the sidewalk on the outside of the annex will be done. It won't be done. It's going to get pushed out and probably done just before we do the blacktop for that Hammerhead fire truck road. We are pushing sewer across to the concession stand, so we'll have drains for that. We won't have that in now because that won't all be turned on. That won't be connected till the gym's done, but we will. We have water over there. Get water. Right now we don't. We had water over there before we started the project. We will get water back over there to make it through football season and fall sports, but we will then shut it back off, but it'll be on once the gym is done. We'll have water and sewer over there, which will be nice. We're not going to put a bathroom in there, but it'll be nice to have an actual sink in there that can drain out of there because we haven't had that up to this point. And then our ice machine will be a more efficient ice machine in there as well. So some mild improvement to it, but a pretty big deal. So Bond is working really well, getting those open ditches covered, and then moving really well. OHS, gym seismic, that's our other big one because the lobby is where we did the most of the construction in there. Roofing wise, they're about 80% done with laying the roof down. All the lower level flat roof, they're about 80% covered on that. And then the taller part that they've sided the whole shop side and the elementary side. Both of those sides are completely got T111 on them. It looks 100 times better, 1,000 times better than the rotten board and mat that was on there, which is still on the elementary, the cafeteria, which will go away when we do that seismic. They started sheeting maybe that's the north end, the one on our end. They started sheeting on that, and then they'll do the other part. Overhang is rebuilt and done, just waiting to be painted. Lobby looks amazing, doesn't even start to describe it. It's just a whole new room. It's awesome. Flooring in there looks incredible. We ended up putting some laminate floor down. Looks amazing. The bathrooms are sheetrocked, insulated sheetrocked. RFPs up on the inside. FRP's up on the inside. The tile we don't have up yet. They're supposed to be in starting next week. We had a grout issue. We wanted blue grout. It's going to look really good on the white, royal blue. Clearly, royal blue is not a thing. At least it's not a consistent thing. So the blue that we got back, that was a midnight blue, was kind of like a combo of Tom and Darren shirts, either of which are ochre blue. So we decided to, so they could special order some stuff that was like 3 months out. So we went with gray, a dark gray, which will actually transition in with the floor because we're doing finished concrete in the bathroom. So it's going to look pretty good. And then they're going to paint the sheer wall. So we did end up losing about 1.5 foot maybe of room in that lobby when you walk in, because we had to do a sheer wall along the end of the short hall. With the sheetrock up though, and the new lighting in there, it looks amazing. It's just a whole different, it looks awesome. I did ask for an extra, asked the guy today if he would, painters are supposed to come in and start in the band room tomorrow. And then they're going to continue to paint through. I asked him to get a quote on what it would cost to, cost and a timeline of while they're in there to paint the inside of that lobby from that, like when you walk in and turn the corner, like you're going to the gym, there's that little drop down ceiling, all that brick in there. Wouldn't be that much. And with I don't think it'll be that much. And with the trophy cases in there, it would really just finish that area off. We're going to take all those alumni picture boards down, and because they're going to revamp all of them and do them kind of in a different way. So we're going to take those down, and that would be now's the time to paint while everything's ready to go. So lobby looks good, and they're going to paint the outside. We are going to go with the roof, or that E111 around the outside is going to be royal blue as well. The overhang is going to be white with blue posts, I think. So it's really, I think the color scheme is going to look good, and the lobby, like I said, completely different from what it did. Bathrooms, the only real hang up we've had there, bathroom doors are not coming in until September 11th. And that was I don't really know who to point the finger at. Somebody between McKinsey and the door people and somebody, whatever. All got dropped. They understand it was their deal. So they are essentially buying temporary doors. The frames are in, we just don't have the doors. They're going to buy temporary doors to put in there so it's functional for the first 2 weeks. Take the doors off and do whatever with them. That's it. So that's not coming as an expense to us. That's them fixing there, whatever happened. So that's on track to go. They just got a little, like I said, about 20% of the roof done or left to do. So we're really moving along. Friday, Saturday, probably not, but maybe. I think that the roof will be covered in if you're referencing possible rain. We do have it covered in, so there's one tiny section which a tarp will easily protect that. So yeah, in that sense, we're in great shape. Talk about the little hiccup. We started volleyball camp on Monday and Tuesday night all week long, and if you remember, we talked about the lobby bathroom was fed from the laundry room water, so that went up into the roof and went out across the gym floor and dropped down into the lobby. It's always been that way. So we looked at that and we're like, why would we do that when there's water right there at the end of the short hall? So we took that pipe out and we basically connected the lobby bathroom, and the nut hut all is being fed from the high school now, as it should be. So we took that out. Well, we didn't have water turned back on down in the laundry room area for them to use the locker room. So unfortunately, had 2 days of practice where the kids that are in there doing camp, not practice, but during camp, they have to go into the shop bathroom. Supposed to be on today. What had happened is when they cut out a bunch of the boiler room, they also cut out some other pipes they weren't supposed to cut out. So they had to put those back in. And so they got them in today. It was charged. We were promised water tonight. They charged it. One of them was leaking, so they had to stop it and get parts. So now our promise is it'll be fixed tomorrow. So that was us jinxing ourselves, saying things are going so well. That being said, we had a small issue in the band room when we charge the lines for the lobby bathrooms, they charge the lines, a 3-foot section of pipe had been cut out to put the shear wall up and not put back together. So they charged the line. So when they charged the line, and we were super, super fortunate, they charged the line, it was like 6 o'clock at night. Everybody was gone except the plumbers, and they charged the line, nothing's leaking, checked all the fixtures, and they were just double checking doors to make sure they were locked. And they got to the lobby doors going out towards the lower gym, and they heard water running and in the band room. But it was locked and they couldn't get in there because they didn't have heat to it. So they had to call people. I was in Eugene. I'm like, yep, I'll be there in an hour and 20 minutes. And anyway, Brent came over, got him in. So the water luckily went right out of the pipe, hit a channel, went right down, took a left, or I guess a left, and then came right out of the middle heating unit, which was pouring out onto the floor. Floor in there, it was empty because we had all the band stuff out from the work we've done. And we caught it soon enough that it didn't even get to the walls. So we just had a big wet spot on the carpet, and then we had to tear out a couple chunks of ceiling and wet insulation. So all good. We had the sheetrockers scheduled to come in. That happened 2 weeks ago on a Thursday, and we had them scheduled to come in on the last Wednesday. So we ended up pushing them 2 days, and it's already sheetrock done, and the painters were supposed to start in there today. So really no harm, no foul. It was all good. Carpet is pretty good. The gross part is I said, are we ever going to get that stain out of the carpet? Well, the stain in the carpet was because the water had came down and had pushed that, and all the dirt on the carpet had gotten washed to this outer crust. It was gross. So now it looks very, very nice. And new lights in the band room are huge. Band room and lobby. We're going with all of the LEDs, and it is crazy. Locker rooms coming brighter, nicer. So big positives there. That's going well. Softball field is our 4th project that we got all the plans done. We're ready to knock it out. He was going in there. We're collecting contracts from all of our subs, getting them signed, and they should start on that for the next couple of weeks. Open that project once we really gets our focus, month to a month and a half tops, and we should have everything done. It is a little bit more of a stripped down version, getting new dugouts with storage on there, getting the new backstop, and then get the fences, the new sideline fences. So dugouts will be much bigger because they have to incorporate the storage that we took away, put the bathrooms in. And then the last project that has really been, it's the least important of the projects, but it's been the most difficult, is the field behind the bleachers. They weren't lying when 25,000 yards of fill is what was needed. It's been a lot of fill. We made good strides, had some real hiccups early, but really have done a ton of movement in the last 3 weeks. We struck a deal with, once we got done with phase 1 and we knew how much fill, we still needed about 10,000 yards of fill to finish up to grade for phase 2, just below grade for the topsoil. So we started looking out, and our original plan was to put it back out to bid, but instead we were able to just do a change order with Corey, our current guy doing it, and we asked, Larry offered up the dirt on that knob that we'd already cut down to 212 feet. We were going to cut down another 8 to 10 feet would give us the fill we needed. So we bought that fill we bought from him. Up to that point we hadn't. He'd just been giving us fill, but we needed an extra 10,000 yards, so we bought it from him. For $2 a yard, which is a screaming deal, especially since it's right there. So trucking on it was very little. So we got 10,000 yards of it, ran into a lot of big rocks, but we're able to dig around and get pretty much where we needed to be. So now we're just about at grade. The engineer was coming in today to do some topography pictures and get an idea of where we were at as far as any dips and so forth. And now we are exploring options for topsoil. We're hoping to be able to grab, Larry's also offered up some topsoil on his lower field, which is prime topsoil. It's right there. We're looking at what a price and cost might look like. The topsoil that we found around is anywhere between 10 and 20 bucks a yard, plus we got to truck it. So if we can get it from him at an acceptable price, we're definitely going to do that. But we'll see on that. Not quite sure. So that is getting close. I think we Essentially, I think we got one more drain line to put in, one more drain catch bin. And then he's got the plum trees are torn out, the fence is torn out up there. We got temporary fencing up on the north side. So we are right there. It's very close to being done. And then when we're done, we get the topsoil. We not only got to put topsoil on the field, we also have to put some topsoil over that area of Larry's that we stripped down. So the rock. So, but it is nearing the end. I still have a pretty good feeling that we'll get done with it before rains hit and get it seeded. And then it'll sit through the winter time and hopefully solid up. Probably keep people off of it in the spring, which isn't ideal, but we'll have to figure that out and work that way. So that's our plan. So from a facilities point of view, I think that's the gist of it. A lot. Those 5 projects have been a lot. It's been a busy, eventful summer. Any questions?
Yeah.
All right.
You might as well take the superintendent report while you're here.
Super report. I don't have a ton of things for you, just some basic. One thing I got a call about 3 weeks ago from UCC. Craig Jackson, their AD, worked with them before. Anytime that they are upgrading their weight room, weight equipment, they call us to see if we want or we're interested in anything. And I think 2 different times we've taken some equipment from them. So he called me and said, hey, we're getting a big donation. We're going to get rid of a bunch of stuff. You want anything? I'm like, oh, come over and look. We went and looked. There was 3 or 4 things in our weight room that were broken or kind of on the semblance of breaking. So we got rid of them. Went over there. We got 7 very nice pieces of equipment. They're not brand new, but they're definitely upgraded over what we had. We are limited on what we can take based on the fact that our weight room is our wrestling room. So we have to be able to move the stuff every day for practice. That's got to be lighter stuff that's easy to move. So we are limited. This was all big equipment stuff. But we were able to get a couple of mobile things that are on wheels and easy to move and some cardio stuff and a couple of weight things. So we picked up those. Maintenance went over to get them with our new trailer, which was great. Truck broke down, had to get towed. At one point, I think we had 4 district vehicles over there trying to manage it when it was 105 degrees on Monday. Anyways, got it managed. Our truck is sitting now at mobile diesel getting fixed again. But got the stuff here. As I said, pushing to get everything done with buildings and getting people back in here. Admin team, we all went down to 7 Feathers on Monday, Tuesday for the ESD back to school administrative retreat. We all went on Monday. I gave them the option to go on Tuesday. Someone went down on Tuesday, and then I went down yesterday. We had our district or our county suit meeting. So got that done. Got a good kickoff to the start. Next Thursday and Friday, admin team and our 2 counselors and one of our community members are going to do some reunification training, kind of the back end of the active shooter stuff, part of the I Love You Guys training. Once you have if we're on, hopefully never happens, but if we have a lockdown event, once you clear the rooms, you get them into a central area. So each building has their gym, then where everyone goes, and then you kind of debrief from there, but we don't mobilize from there. We then take kids to a different place to go get picked up. So our reunification point is Church of Christ. So we need to do it's essentially a 2-day training to make sure we have that in play and we know we're going to do that. Haven't necessarily worked out all of the details that come with such a big undertaking. So that 2-day training will help with that. So we're doing that next Thursday and Friday. Got staff. New teachers are back on the 25th. All staff are back on the 26th. We take our classified and everyone works. Teachers work in 8 to 4 on that day. Everyone else works in 8 to 2. Come in, we do a district welcome back breakfast. A couple of introductions to everybody, a couple of other things, and then we give classified the time to work on their safe school training and do some other things within their buildings, and then teachers kind of get rolling for the week. First day with kids is September 2nd, the following Tuesday, day after Labor Day. Staffing wise, we got all of our teachers hired, filled that math and ag position, and then we had 1 IA at at the elementary school that we were fully staffed at the June meeting. I told you we only had one IA left to hire. Well, shortly after that, one of the IAs that was out of state that took the job, and life changed for her and she couldn't take it, ended up not moving. So we have that position open that we're interviewing for tomorrow. OMS just had one come up, open yesterday. Or today, maybe someone resigned. They'd kind of given us a heads up that they might, so they took another job. So we have 4 applicants for the elementary. So those guys are going to co-interview and probably grab, hopefully, one of each of those. And then we still have the one at the shop open at the high school, doing interviews for those on Monday. So that is really the only staff openings that we have right now. So that continues on. It's back 2 weeks. And that's pretty much all I got for Super Bowl.
All right. And now, the cell phone policy.
All right. Cell phone policy is causing a lot of angst around the state, with superintendents and probably a lot more in principals and people that are going to enforce it. But so in front of you, you have a draft policy the OSBA finally came out with. We've got it up. Their timeline is difficult. The timeline as part of the executive order is you needed to have a policy in place by Halloween, have to be implementing the executive order by January 4th. So you have the option of starting halfway through school. Anyone that's been in school spending a regular amount of time knows you don't put a policy in the middle of the year very effectively. So I would say 90% of schools are starting the year off with the policy in place. Hey, so here's the draft policy. I'd say we'll go through and look at it today, kind of make the changes or adjustments, selections in the bracketed area that we need to. But originally I thought we should push through and get it approved today, but I kind of changed my thought on that. There's not a rush. They haven't done the rules making. So after the executive order comes through, then they have to do a rulemaking committee and they go through and break it down and add other rules. Once that's done, OSBA will revisit this policy and probably make some adjustments. They haven't given us a clean timeline on it. But I think that mid-September we'll probably get it. So I'd say we'll have it on the, with the changes that we've added to it. That'll be in your September packet. Even at that point, I'll know a little bit more about what timelines look like for the rulemaking. We might end up not adopting it officially until October. That being said, our plan will still be to start day 1 of school with this policy, with this practice of this policy in place. We'll put it in our handbooks in all 3 buildings and just effectively run it from there, which is really what we do now. We have a personal electronic device policy, nothing as specific as what we do in the buildings. So, so that we'll be fine. We'll be covered there. We'll manage it. So for now, we're just gonna go through the policy itself. So as you look through here and you're reading it, for starters, the first bracketed area, it's hard to read with that big R there, but students says, and in brackets, either possession or use of, and we're going to go with possession. So we expect them not to have it in their possession during the school day. So the rule will be put it in your locker. And when the bell rings, just start shooting. So they can bring them to school. They can have them before school. As soon as that first bell rings, they need to go in their locker. Well, unlock them at the end of the day. And well, I said unlock them. Then they need to leave them in there and not use them throughout the day. So personal electronics is prohibited from the start of regular instruction hours to the end of regular instruction hours, except as provided below. Says in brackets, personal electronic device can be used when students are not on school grounds and not under the supervision of school personnel other than a school bus driver. That's accurate. The school bus driver piece, we'll leave that in there. I think it makes the policy a little more confusing, but they're allowed to, again, they're allowed to use it on the bus. Well, yes, because it's a bell-to-bell ring. Their justification of why they can use it on the bus is you have a bus driver that is concentrating on driving a bus, so they can't then monitor whether kids are on and off their phones. The bottom line is it's a bell-to-bell one, so that's before and after the bell. So I figured we'd leave that in there just because that's the recommended piece. But And then from there, next paragraph is, as is. Third paragraph, personal electronic device may be used when use complies with the terms of, medical provider order. That's mostly your diabetic kids that do their tracking through that. So if they have that, they'll be able to track their blood sugar through their phone. But we need a medical note that says that. Secondly, if their IEP says they need it as part of their educational plan, they'll do it. 3, a written exemption provided for the school based on a request received in the AR that is also attached in there. School administration will respond to such a request within 10 school days. 10, I want to say that I thought I read somewhere that it was 5, but we're going to respond to that. We're going to get the request. We're going to respond to it. And you'll see when we get to the AR, request comes to the principal. Principal makes a decision on it. If the parent's not happy with the principal's decision, it gets appealed to the SUP. SUP has final decision. That's not something that can be appealed to you guys, not something that can be appealed to ODG, or I mean, they might be able to take it there, but the policy says stops with the SUP. So next one, personal electronic devices must be placed in district provided pouches or storage. We'll cross that out. We looked at that a little bit. I think Rachel explored it some. There's some expense to it, and there's a lot of other challenges that come with it. The pouches are not like the hang on the back of the wall and store shoes in pouch. Now those would be awful because then they're going to get broke. Other kids taking other kids. The pouches are basically you have 200, which means you'd have to order 300 per building. And it's a personal pouch that you give. So when you guys came in, you come to the office, if you have your pouch, you'd have to lock it up in there, and it gets locked. And then at the end of the day, you come back by the office and it gets demagnetized and open. So your phone stays in there. So you keep possession of your phone in your pouch. Take much to go, oh, I forgot my pouch today. Oh, I don't have my phone today, whatever. It's in your locker, locked in your locker. So we'll keep maybe kept in students in lockers or backpacks, but not to be stored on the student's person or in the student's clothing. And then we crossed out maybe stored on the student's person. We don't want it in there. We want it either in their backpack. And at the high school, at least, we don't allow backpacks in the classroom. So they're going to be in their lockers. Middle school, do you guys allow backpacks in the locker in the classroom? Mm-hmm. So they have lockers they need to use. And then beyond that, backside of this, students in violation of this policy will be subject to disciplinary action. Discipline for mere possession or use of the personal electronic device may not include loss of instruction time for the student. Talk about that in just a second, but could include detention. I changed the Saturday school to Friday school, etc. However, if the actions taken by the student violate another conduct policy, the student may be subject to discipline up to and including expulsion. So it lists the consequences in here. I would recommend not doing that. We have the consequences laid out in the handbook. If we lay them in here, they have to be exactly the same. They're very similar between high school and middle school. I say that it's an elementary school problem too, but a very, very, very small one. They're not really allowed at the element. This is what the elementary policy has been forever, right? If you have a phone, you can't ever be on it. Middle school and high school, you've been able to use them at lunch, use them at passing time, those kind of things. I guess just for clarification, and I've asked this in every meeting I've been in, and I feel like I finally got, I feel like that last sentence, I had something to do with that getting put in there, because originally it was plain and simple. The phone violation cannot cost you any out of school time. Well, my argument is, okay, Darren's on his phone at lunchtime, and I say, Mr. Bainbridge, you're not supposed to be on your phone. Please give me your phone. And he says, no, I'm not giving it to you. Oh, yes, you are. Well, what are you going to do to me? Because you can't kick me out for it. Having his phone is going to come with a consequence, whether it's his first, second, third, or fourth offense. Refusing to give it to the staff member that asked for it is a different behavioral issue that can lead to suspension or expulsion is a stretch. But so that is insubordination. That's a different thing. So that was clearly put in the policy, which is a big bonus. That was much needed. Our consequences for it are roughly first offense take it, stays in the office all day, kid gets back at the end of the day. Second offense stays overnight. Parent has to come get it the next day, plus they get a detention. Third offense stays overnight, parent has to come get it the next day, and it's Friday school. By the fourth offense, they have to check it in the office at the beginning of the day, get it back at the end of the day. I don't think that middle school has had, you guys don't keep it overnight, right? But I think they're gonna explore possibly strengthening that up, and we'll manage it as we go. If we have to change it at the end of the year. But that's our plan going in. So I don't think we need the consequences in there. I would recommend taking those out. And then beyond that, that's the rest of the bracketed stuff. So before we move on to the AR, you guys have any questions on the policy or any comments on that? Because this came in late, normally I give you the highlighted version of all these things beforehand, but.
So what about, because it is bell to bell, what about sports travels?
That's still up for debate, and we're waiting for that to come out in rules. So at this point, we're gonna wait on that.
See, the coaches calling the parents.
Yeah.
Pick them up, be a real pain.
Well, even that, bell to bell afterwards wouldn't matter. So, I mean, if we're talking about splitting hairs from a sports perspective, it would be if the team leaves at 1 o'clock. If the policy requires full enforcement from 1 o'clock to 3:50, they couldn't be on their phone. But at 3:51, when the bell rang here at school, they then would be able to have access to their phone. Just like if they were at school, 3:51, 3:50, the bell rings, they can go to their locker, get their phone and be on it. So they could be on it, walking from their locker to practice or wherever, they'd be fine on it. So that sports trip piece, it would just be on the front end of the trip. But again, we're waiting for the rules to make peace on that. I'd like to think common sense will prevail, but I don't know why I think that.
Yeah, is the high school and are they the same policy? I mean, for the club.
Consequences?
Okay, yeah, I mean,
Consequences? I
yeah,
think consequences are a little harsher at the high school. I think middle school, because that's where we first started learning, that's where they're first getting phones. Now it's getting down to second, third, and fourth grade, but really starting to consistently use them and be on them and be using them all the time is, that's why they're a little bit lighter. Consequences, they're still the same, they lose the phone until the end of the day, but.
okay,
I think the biggest, third was detention, parent had to pick it up at the end of the day. Fourth, which we've never actually had, was they would get a half day in school suspension. But actually never had to go to that.
So that's our plans with the policy itself. As far as the AR, all the AR is the form that the parent has to fill out if they want to ask for a exception to it. I'm thinking, so in this, you get essentially, they have to fill it out if they wouldn't have to fill it out if it's part of their IEP or their 504. That's a given. They just get it. That's in law. We would follow that. If they needed a medical provider order, so they have the medical note, then we would have them fill out the AR and we would add to it. Or we would then, because then once it comes into us, the principal decides. And so your bracketed piece, yes, it would be the principal they turn it into, and then they will make that decision. Accommodate the individual circumstances of the student. That one, I mean, as I thought through this, I'm thinking, okay, Kent has his mother got in a car accident or something and is in the hospital. And so we're waiting to hear word if that was the case, or, extreme circumstances that kid needed to be reached right away. While we would probably explore any other options, we wouldn't say no, a blanket no to it. Out some things that yes, for this specified time period for the next week or 2 weeks, whatever, here's, we can access that. So those are truly individual instances, and and it will have an expiration date on it. Hey, this is only good for this. This is not a blanket policy use. So other than that, the AR is pretty straightforward. It's essentially the worksheet that they got to fill out. But it does, exemption requested, describe the request. Covers on the back. Yes, on the back.
number one intention should be only approved for legitimate needs of students and
Yeah,
family, not mere.
somewhere I saw it, I don't know if it was in the policy, I saw it somewhere in there that if they didn't like the decision, oh, there we go. It's on the school administrative decisions will be issued and communicated to the parent or guardian within 5 school days of receipt and can be appealed to the superintendent within 10 days of that. And then, but the superintendent's decision is final. Denied request may be resubmitted if circumstances change after 12 months or if the circumstances are different. So they are pretty straightforward. There's an option to do it. That I would say there should be rare cases that we're going to grant the exception, but if the circumstances warrant it, we would.
Problem I see is with overhead, just great people start wearing those watches.
Yeah, and I mean, that's, the watches are illegal in here as well. And so what we'll do, I mean, we'll put it in our policy, and it's written in the policy, it defines what an electronic device is. The problem is an Apple III watch would be illegal, an Apple II watch would not. We're not gonna police all the watches. What we're gonna do then is if you see somebody that is texting on their watch, then we're taking the watch. So we're gonna treat it like that. And we're not gonna go through and police every watch because, I mean, I couldn't tell you the difference between them, and I doubt that, a lot of our staff could, but our younger staff probably could. But in the end, it'll be if they have that watch thing on and they're abusing it, we're taking it. So, yes, because probably none of you guys have the glasses that you can text through. So,
I think I'm doing right now.
yeah. So if you don't have any questions on it, I think that's a good first reading. Lynn will create a policy that has those adjustments in it, and we'll do a second reading in September with the idea that we might still not adopt it until our October meeting. Any questions? You guys got anything to add? Not ideal. We're also going to have to address staff with it. The expectation is going to need to be that staff aren't on their phones during class. I mean, for not emergency, but school specific use, because some of our, like if our middle school or high school PE take their kids down to the football field, they need to have a cell phone with them so that if it breaks his ankle, they can quickly communicate and so forth. So yes, in those instances or for safety purposes, then they'll have it, but they're not going to be, as they shouldn't be now, but scrolling through their phone. And really the instruction's kind of going to be, if you're going to plan on being on your cell phone at lunch, you need to be away from kids. Because otherwise you're going to be taking serious grief from kids, and rightfully so, but it's not fair for them. It is a duty-free lunch for teachers, so we're not telling the teachers they can't be on it during their duty-free lunch, but the recommendation is going to be get away from kids. So, communication wise, I'm planning on trying to construct an email tomorrow or Friday and getting it out. I'm going to send it out to all the parents and all the students, grades 5 through 12, if almost still in pre-flight. So hopefully I'll be able to do that. But anyways, I'll send something out to everybody, and then I'll send something out again just as a reminder a couple of days before school starts, just as a reminder for it. But basically give an overview. Well, I'm not going to totally throw the governor under the bus and say, I'm going to make it pretty clear. Hey, it's an executive order. We don't have a choice. We got to follow it. This is not our plan, but here's the reasons why it's a positive. I don't want to, I don't want to incense people and have them, ticked off that they're going to be ticked off no matter what. And I'm not trying to avoid it from being us, but I'm going to make it clear. Hey, there are some good reasons behind it. Okay. Kids need to be off their phones. They can interact, they can do whatever. If you need to contact your kids, we still have office phones. We can do those things. So hoping to send something out. Hope by Friday. Might not be till Monday, but hopefully Friday. All right. There's your cell phone.
All right. Next up, the CREP grant.
Prep grant is a grant that is as part of the bond that we get. There's a law out there that every time you get any kind of public funding for that, for building stuff on public lands, you have to use 1% of the grant for renewable green type resources. So as part of us hiring OTAC, Michelle that's doing our project managing for the gym, part of the allure of hiring them is they have somebody that works with their company that writes these CREP grants. A CREP grant is a grant that they write that is strictly for reusable energies. And they write the grant up, I think, I want to say up to 500,000. I can't, don't quote me on what the time, but a decent amount. So if we apply for the grant and get it, we don't have to use any of the bond money. The grant covers what we would have to spend out of the bond. So it's a big bonus for us. So I have a meeting on Friday with their grant writer, the grant writer, and Michelle, and we're going to go through and get that grant put together and submitted. So the whole purpose is, yes, we'll do the whatever, I think we're looking at battery packs on the backside. It's probably what we're going to use. I don't think the money's going to be there for solar panels, and the way the gym's designed is the roof's not great for solar panels anyway. So anyway, whatever we're going to do, we're going to do it. And we got to get the grant first and then we'll design it. So shouldn't be any cost to us. It came as part of the OTAC contract to get it done. So I'll know more next meeting, but for now, got the meeting on Friday. So.
All right. Your favorite, street vacation progress.
We are close. First reading, I can't remember if it was at the June meeting. I think at the June meeting for you guys, I was about to go to the city council meeting. So I went, it went really well. No real opposition at the meeting. A couple of community members even spoke up in favor of why we should do it. City council at that point approved the first reading of it and seemed positive that they just had a meeting last week during fair, I think, where they approved the second reading. So it's done now. Done as far as approved. We then are submitting the easement to the county because we did have to give them an easement down the middle for their water and sewer lines that are there. So that easement's being done, but essentially it's ready to sell. So I have a meeting tomorrow at 1:00 with Ben Titone that we're going to go over and look at getting it listed. So that meeting's at 1:00 tomorrow. So hopefully that'll be on site or on the market in the next couple of weeks, which will be good because we need to sell it. So we take that money and pay for that project going on the backside, which is what the whole plan was from the start. Straight flow through because we're essentially taking that field, taking the use of that field and the one we put the gym on and moving it to the back. So we're in great shape there, finally.
So the OHS seismic potholing hall.
So as I remember, we talked about it, we got that, we got the seismic on the high school. We were concerned about a $2.5 million grant being in the high school. So we received the grant. We dug two pothole on each side on the front, right when you come up High School Hill, right behind the stop sign. We dug one. It was about probably a 5-foot wide hole, and we went down to below the footing. We did the same thing on the back side, only a little farther down, kind of behind the science room. And then we dug two big, we were going to dig a 4-foot by 4-foot hole right in the middle of the hallway. But instead, as they got going, we realized that you got the 2 footings that run on the outside walls, and then we have 2 footings that run on the inside walls of the classroom. And then it's the floor in the middle that's been buckling. And engineers, 2 engineers that had looked at it before our meeting in June, believed that the ground was that because we're on this big chunk of shale, water was coming through and getting into the dirt, and it was swelling the dirt, and the dirt would swell, push the floor up, and then it would dry that way. And so that's why the floor couldn't come back down. Well, so we dug a 1.5-foot ditch down the counseling office hallway, where that's where the biggest drop off is when you come from the hallway into that, from the main hall into that little side hall that goes down to the counseling office. We dug a 2-foot, dug about 2 feet down, maybe 2.5, 3 feet, all the way down that. And then we did another one down by the bathrooms, because I don't know, well, maybe you guys all do know this. The high school was built and stopped at the bathrooms, and then like in the 50s, and then they added from the bathrooms to the ends, maybe in the 70s. I don't really know when they added that, but sometime after. The floor movement isn't as bad at that end of the hall. It's still not great, but it's not as bad. The engineers believed it was all about soils moving underneath. So what we needed to do was dig these test holes and we brought in a couple of geotechs to look at the dirt and make their decision. Well, I just got their report emailed to me last night, and their recommendation is they do not believe that it is the dirt or the underground material that is causing this. They say it's structural. They don't know what. That's not their expertise, but they say it's structural. So where does that leave us? Well, I just got the report yesterday, came to me and it came to one of the engineers at ZCS. So tomorrow at our construction meeting that we have every Thursday, we will talk about it and decide where we're going from here. Essentially, my guess is they're probably gonna do a little bit more structural exploration, and then we'll have essentially the same decision to make that I talked about in the spring. We're either gonna give the money back minus the probably 15 to 20,000 we've spent on exploring, or ask them to split it into two, because we don't believe we can do it for one, and we still don't believe that. But it doesn't matter what I think as much. What matters is what the engineers think. So we'll see. Worst case scenario, we have to give it back. That'll put us a year off on our rotation, but we'll turn around and reapply. If we give the money back, we will automatically reapply for the high school in two parts in December, at the December 15th deadline. If they let us split it, we'll keep it and decide whether we're going to do the short haul or the long haul, and we'll apply for the other one and the cafeteria in December. And then OES is next in line again, the last one. So we didn't, with the geotech report said it's not the dirt. They don't know what it is. Engineers don't know. Structurally, I don't know. I'm not an engineer, obviously, but I have a hard time believing that it's completely structural when you look down those inside walls of the hallway. There's no cracks in the sheetrock. Yes, the door's like this in some of the cases, and they're crooked, but there's no, the sheetrock is not, doesn't have these massive cracks and broken pieces. So I don't know.
I don't remember.
So what are you talking about?
Sure. We call it Sheriff's Peak because that was a science room, right? Towards
Yeah.
that.
They've cut that twice since I've been here.
Yeah,
They've
I
cut
think
that
they did it with their school too.
not too long ago. I want to say 15 years ago. They cut right through. I mean, they cut it probably a 4-foot diagonal swath that goes kind of from the middle of the science room across to the door of the library, and they redid it and dropped it back down. But it's just continued to do it. The unofficial word that we believe might be happening that's a little frightening is essentially the front of the high school is just sloughing off on that hill, and that's what's causing the problem. I would think that, and maybe putting that retaining wall in back in 2001 maybe or two, Reg was here. I remember him and Wilson spearheaded it. That might have slowed it down a lot, putting that retaining wall in, but it's definitely not going to stop it. So if that's the problem. And once we got in there, the footings are only about this deep, and the bottoms of them, there's no J, there's no L on the bottom. They're not spiked in. They're just, it's a footing that is about this big and about that wide, sitting on shale. So that might have something to do with it too, but that definitely reinforces the fact that 2.5 million is going to touch the digging we're going to have to do to reinforce into that shale. So anyway, to be determined, but that's the update. We got the geotech report back last night, and that's what they had to say. So puts us a little bit back to square one. The engineers now have to kind of revamp why. That's where we're at.
All right. Next up is the walkway plans with the city.
Met with Lori, I don't know, sometime this summer, and we're set to go. They're going to break ground in sometime in the fall, September, October-ish. I very much appreciate Lori. She's been great to work with. She's understanding and writing up the restrictions, and it was during the bidding process that I met with her. It was the on-site bid. Didn't require it, so only one company showed up, but we were able to kind of walk through the process. And I made it clear, just need to put in their bid that we're not paving. If we're paving during the school time, which it will be during school, we're not starting until like 8:15, till after drop off, and they're done before pickup. So if we are shutting off part of Old Town Loop, it'll be one lane. So instead of shutting it completely out and just blocking it off, it'll be one lane. So we could, if we had to, have traffic come in, pick up, and then make the loop on Old Town Loop. We're trying to avoid that. Sounded like they might be able to work on some Friday, Saturday, Sunday stripping and then leave it for the week and let it be driven on and then turn around on the following Friday, Saturday, Sunday, do the paving. The path itself, as it is, they are going to repave from essentially where the high school, where you pop out by the greenhouse to where you pop into here. That's all being repaved as part of it, which is huge because this chunk of the road is awful. So they are going to redo that. And then the path comes right from the Lincoln driveway, right on the outside of this. And then it stops where that driveway comes out and pops in right behind the bleachers. And then it zigzags in kind of right past the dugout in some, and then goes up onto that hill. Agreed that it's about a 7-inch addition because they got to put in 4 inches of packed gravel and then another 3 inches of blacktop. We're not doing it on top of the hill that's already there, so they are going to dig that down and flatten it out some to get it flatter. Obstacle that they're going to have to figure out at the far end by that fire hydrant, one of the 50 that we have on campus. There's a couple of fire, water and sewer pop-ups and a variety of city things they're going to have to work around, but they know that. They saw that. So it's going to be really nice when it's done. It's going to look a lot better. It's going to make it a lot safer for kids that are walking right there. Definitely traffic on people drive too fast on that. It's not a very wide road. It's terrible during pickup because you got them backed up clear to the corner, and then someone will decide, oh, I'm just going to pop out in this lane and go. It's sketch at best. While they are, well, she finally decided, I kind of tried to discourage it, but they were going to put parking bumpers along there so you couldn't get across. And I'm like, well, definitely from the dugout out you can't, because people park up on that hill to watch the games. And while she wasn't excited about them parking on the new blacktop path, reality is that's going to happen, and we don't want parking bumpers there. So I think they landed on some really good, bright striking of, but exciting project. Really one that the city put together, and she said this fall she has not got back to me. That was, I want to say, mid-July maybe that we met during their bid thing. So there would have been at least 2 weeks left on the bid opening. Once it closed, they then have to go through the RFP because they had to do an RFP, so they can go through all of that piece. Once that's done, then they will, depending on who gets the bid, then we'll make it into the schedule. So
Actually, it is done. We accepted a bid last week.
okay, right
It's DPM used to be on plus in.
Oh,
I think.
Oh, wow.
So that's, yeah.
okay, that's the new owners, right?
So anyway, that's who got it. They did for other projects. I think they may have done the lot of Fifth Street between Oak and Locust. Anyway, they're easy to work with and did a good job on whichever project it was.
Good.
So anyway, yeah, that's been approved. The contract's been approved and it's moving forward.
Have they said,
Did not have a date at that point in time.
so they said in the fall. So, I mean, and I was, said, well, it'd be great if you could cram it in August, but the bad part about doing it in August is there's no way to be done and be at the start. So at least we'll get school rolling, and then there'll be some interruptions, but we'll just blame the city and send the city else.
Next is board resignation.
In your packets, you have your last page of your packet is unfortunately a letter of resignation from Lisa Carlson, and she is moving on. Thanks for her time and effort, and say a huge thank you to her for all the time she spent on the board. Yeah, fortunately, that motion doesn't inflation. With that, I guess I'd say in the informational part, it's been our practice. It's up to you guys to do, so I'll take your input, but it's been our practice when we get a resignation, we hold it for at least 1 month before we act on it. So if you guys are fine with following our past practice, we will advertise it. You guys at the end, assuming you accept your resignation, we will hold it till the October. We'll advertise it this week, get it out there, and then take applications for the October meeting. to decide on instead of the September meeting and trying to hurry it through. And then you have the option at the October meeting. Have done this before. It's awkward, so I wouldn't necessarily recommend it, but we've done it before where we've gotten the applications in and feel great about it and wanted to keep going, and so they pushed it out another month. It's fine to do it if you do it beforehand. I wouldn't necessarily do it at the October meeting because the people come and they are gonna give you a little spiel, so it's not great to go, okay, you guys gave your spiel, we're gonna wait for a better applicant. So at this point, we'll go October, if you guys are fine with that. So we'll advertise it for the October meeting.
And the bond oversight committee.
This is really just I pitched it to the bond oversight committee when we met in July to see what they thought. Essentially, to this point, as part of our compilation of the bond oversight committee, we had 2 board members on there. That was Brent and Lisa. Lisa not being on there, not being on the board, she agreed to stay on, and we would just do Zoom meetings, so she'll still attend. We're down to like probably 2 meetings left, possibly 3. We have 1 scheduled for late September. Said we'd kind of determine where we're at that point. Probably schedule 1 for early November and then mid-December, because as one of our BOC committee members pointed out, really their job is to oversee the spending of the funds. And we're really going to start spending. We've been spending money and doing work, but we're really going to start spending money in the next 3 months as we pay all of our subs and we really start knocking stuff out at the end. So money will start flowing through. So we'll probably meet 3 more times into September, mid-November, early November, and then mid-December. So the question I'm posing to you guys is, Lisa's going to stay on the committee and do Zoom meetings, but if you feel the need to add a board member to that committee to replace her, so we do have 2 board members, that's your guys' prerogative, or you can leave it as is. I don't believe there's a requirement to do it. I just want to give you guys the option because that's how it was originally created.
Think we need another board member, or you?
I'm not really kind of torn, I guess.
That's kind of where I'm at. I mean, so
That's set on, I guess.
Yeah.
all cards on the table. You got Jay Gibbs, you got Justin Harris, you got Guy Atkinson, you got Brent, Lisa, John Silva,
Yeah, that's
I think that's it, right?
That's it, yeah.
and then I'm there and Alan's there.
Yeah, I mean,
So,
it's a good group, yeah. I think it's really good.
I mean, I think it's covered. I mean,
Yeah, I know.
they're doing a good job of everything. And then Michelle's in the mix as well as our project
Yeah.
manager, so she's at everything.
Right.
I don't feel like you're required to. I guess that's where I would land.
That's probably where I would.
If one of you other 3 wanted to join in, I mean, Tom and Ken are on facilities, so yes, they're getting a few more details at that on the bond, that's bond specific, but you guys get the same thing more often, updates, and then I do a written update about in between meetings as well. So, I mean, I'm non-committal. I don't think it matters that you guys call.
Well, I would say is if we get into the heat of it and you're feeling that we need some other eyes on it, maybe reach out to us. But I mean, other than that, I mean, unless you can't be at a meeting, let one of us know we can step in. But I mean, I think we'd be fine.
I would agree with
That'd probably be the only thing. I don't foresee missing any meetings, but
I wouldn't think so either.
Yeah.
But, okay, let's do that then. I think if you guys are fine with that, then we'll leave Brent on there, representing the board. And then if he can't be there, then we'll let one of you guys know to step in. And again, like I said, because you guys are getting facility updates every month as well, plus the updates you're gonna get at the board.
yeah.
Sounds good.
All right.
All right, public comment regarding agenda items. Hearing none, we'll move along to action items. First up, 9.1 is designations, and those are the ones that were all written at the beginning of the agenda there. And most of your name on it.
Yeah, great.
So anyway, I would entertain a motion to approve the designations as written.
So moved.
All right, any discussion? All right, right, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
I,
Any in opposition? No? All right. And 9.2 is our board resignation.
We declined it, okay,
I was gonna text her at the end of the meeting and say we declined it, no matter what.
Yes.
but,
Yeah, go with that. Now we're gonna miss her on the board.
yeah,
Anyway, I.
make
Yeah,
the motion that we accept Lisa Carlson's resignation. And then to push out the new, nominations for October.
Sorry.
All right, any discussion? All right, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
I,
Any opposed? Hearing none, that passes. Upcoming meeting input.
September 10th, it's COVID day out there, trying to do a better job now. I wrote it down this time. I'll try and do a better job each month of having it written down so I can say, yep, this is today and not guess and then have to correct me because I'm wrong. Every time I'm right, it really is, which is good. In line, September 10th. So.
All right. For the good of the order.
Just a heads up, I guess, more than anything. City council's doing some revamping of their, of the city hall. They're adding some, doing some work with their handicap access, no elevator, fixing the elevator so they don't have ADA accessibility. So they had to ask at the July meeting that I was at if we were okay with them using our conference room for their city council meetings. And I said, obviously, yes, of course, we would be willing to make that happen. So they'll be having, there's a possibility they will be, I haven't heard officially, but I don't know why. As soon as the work starts, they're going to need it. So they'll start meeting up here for their city council and their other city meetings they have. So.
And right now, because of ordering parts for the elevator, which apparently takes a while, we're probably gonna push it to after Christmas.
So just know that that's out there and I offered it up. Of course, we would be willing to do that. They have proven to be good to work with over the years. And I think we've developed a good relationship with them. Slow, steady, which is great. So maybe he said Christmas. He didn't say what Christmas. But yeah, it's a great.
Do they still make parts for that elevator? We're having to replace, they keep the car, I guess, itself, but everything kind of around it. Yes, so, I don't know. They finally got there's something that's taken as long as the sign downtown as the elevator, so you'd be happy knowing that.
Karma.
It's been going for a long time. All right, any announcements?
I would just throw out and I'll remind you on the 10th, but the the boosters auction is September 20th. And I should have brought the little QR codes to buy your tickets if you so wish. But if you didn't know, Boosters has kind of absorbed, their main focus is still athletics and activities, but has absorbed PTO as well. So they're supporting all three buildings now. And I think over the last year, their auction will be September 20th at the cafeteria.
Here's some really high big items coming up for auction.
Yeah.
Duct tape.
Hmm?
Some involved duct tape.
Me neither.
I don't think that was involved.
That means you better be at the auction.
Yeah.
I better go for $5.
Anything else?
I don't think so.
We are adjourned.
Awesome. Happy August. Here we go again.
Here we go.